that it is.
My Lords, I just wanted to throw in a spanner a little bit, which is to say that I'm completely torn between two sides, so I thought it might be helpful to explain the dilemma. First of all, I'd like to give real credit to the noble Lord, Lord Winston, for the work that he's done scientifically and the need to use animals and experiments, which he explained. And I was partly moved to speak because I was a great admirer of and friend of neuroscientist Professor Colin Blakemore, who died a few years ago. And I just wanted to note that he had to heroically stand his ground against intimidation, harassment, threats of violence, and actually terror. And that was deployed not just against him, but by animal rights activists, and he, alongside less well-known scientists, but medical researchers, staff both in academia and in private companies, were confronted by abuse, accused, by the way, completely inappropriately, of conducting a Holocaust, completely inappropriate use of the term Holocaust, of animals and so on, worse than the Nazis, and I witnessed some of that. Now, this was long before, in fact, organisations like Just Stop Oil and Palestine Action arrived on the scene who blur the line between the democratic right to protest and the more anti-democratic bullying of the public and institutions to do as activists demand. And I think that that presents us genuinely with a dilemma, because I support the right to protest, but I sometimes worry that the right to protest is used to justify people who are not interested in protesting but are interested in effecting the stoppage of a particular activity through physically and through bullying people. But, having said all of that, I do want to ask the noble Lord the Minister why this sector has only come into scope now and why not before. I just genuinely don't understand. Why has it been introduced as a statutory instrument with no possibility of opposition, apart from via a fatal motion, to be honest? And I cannot see why. I was one of those people who was very worried about the Public Order Act and the powers handed over to the Secretary of State, precisely because I was worried that the Secretary of State could redefine what national infrastructure projects were, and here we have it, and I think that's been very well explained. I also feel rather squeamish about our emphasis on life sciences as an industry and national infrastructure without it being defended as scientific research for its own sake. I mean, I wish I'd heard so much defence of the importance of animal research when those scientists were being attacked by politicians on all sides, because for me, I think of animal research in terms of epilepsy drugs, Parkinson's disease, anti-cancer drugs and therapies like Herceptin and Tamoxifen. And I just find it a little bit disappointing that we only kind of stand up to defend it when it's an industry that makes money. I just think there's more to scientific research and animal research than that, surely. However, I was also disappointed by the noble Lady Baroness Bennett, but particularly the briefings, actually, and goodness knows I received many of those emails, who, on the one hand, I agree, right to protest, constitutional overreach, as I've just said. And actually, I thought the noble Lord Kerr made some really excellent points. Not often we agree, but made some absolutely excellent points as to why this is slightly nerve-wracking. But then I was in all of these emails I received, and in fact we've had it reproduced here by the noble Lady Baroness Bennett, we end up getting a lecture about the dangers of animal research. And I end up feeling that what I'm being asked to vote on is whether I think animal research is a valid scientific method, or, you know, whether it's important for medical science. I understand replace. I understand the 3 Rs. I understand it's not where we're going, but I think it is so important to emphasise that this animal research is going to carry on for some time. We can't be dishonest about that. And therefore, if I'm in a situation where I'm being asked to vote for this fatal motion, and that means that it's been turned into a way of demonising those researchers who work with animals, then I will not vote for it, or I'll abstain. So it is a question both to the Noble Lord the Minister, why now? Why didn't you say it before? Why didn't anybody say it before? And to the Noble Lady as to whether I can risk siding with people who are going to give a lecture and hectoring demonisation of perfectly legitimate, in my view, heroic scientists who do animal research, because it's necessary for humanity, whatever about the economy.